Good afternoon and welcome to Loughborough University as we are just over half an hour away from game number 3 of the MAAREE Women's Super League opening weekend. Having just had back-to-back reverse sweeps, it's now the turn of the newly promoted team, Team Newcastle, to make their Super League season opener. And they will face off against the reigning champions, the Malory Eagles. Malory having won the league, the cup and the Final Four last season. And they'll look to start. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. But first up, our player introductions.
Who's stronger? Who's stronger? Probably her. No. I choose your twist on the bottom. Right or left? This way, like that. If you can't, that, I mean, it's okay if you can't. It's meant to be as straight as possible. Okay, perfect. I just mean, like, I'm not that strong.
That was my left. I tried with my left as well. My left is probably as strong.
Oh, I just want to make sure that I'm not that strong. I mean, genuinely, it's like I was more saying for. Sorry. I got it farther back. Oh, shoot.
Good afternoon and welcome back for game number 3 of the MAAREE Women's Super League opening weekend. Back-to-back 5-setters, Jess Smith. What a way to start the day.
I mean, not only back-to-back 5-setters, but back-to-back reverse sweeps.
Okay, we're bringing that up. Okay, carry on.
I mean, we have to bring it up. You said very clearly in your bold predictions, because I know that I'm going to get crap for my bold predictions, so I got to give you some, right?
Of course, and that's what it's here for. What I mean is we've had 2 exciting games. We've got drop points by everyone on opening weekend so far, and this game could be exactly the same. The newly promoted Newcastle Knights champions Malory, but do not rule out this Newcastle team.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, I mean, we've seen some upsets already. There's been, new faces, new styles, massive change on the Polonia game that we just saw. Anything can happen. It's a new season.
Indeed, and let's have a little chat about this newly promoted Newcastle team. We know how difficult it is to get out of Division 1, especially last year, just one promotion slot available, and they just control what they need to control, but also brought through some players for this year. Really good balancing job by Sam Shenton.
Oh yeah, completely. Sam has a really good philosophy about the way that he manages his team, and it shows through the way his players are developing, and they've got some good talent coming through. It'll be exciting to see what they can do this season and seasons to come.
I know, they've got a strong American core, but they've got some depth as well. Obviously, the connection between the two, the former Malory middle, Harriet Phil Edwards, will come off the bench as a setting option. I know I was actually the one that broke the news to Harriet about opening day, and her face just lit up going against a former club. Obviously, we saw each other in the cup last year, but the development of some of the Newcastle younger players like Harriet, Lauren Howe, and people like that has really been impressive, and they're going to have an impact on the league this year.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's exactly what we want to see in England, and I mentioned this earlier. It's development of the youth that are coming up, which sets us up for international success on the national stage as well.
And then obviously got to flip over to the reigning champions warming up behind us. A lot of familiar faces, but a lot of familiar faces have also left, Jess. It's going to be a really tough balancing act for Malory this year to bed some new faces in and make the changes, because what they've lost is a lot.
Yeah, they have lost a lot, but they've got a good core group that has come back, which will help them with getting this group back running at the same types of rhythms that they ran last year. But you're right, they've got a couple of big changes. They don't have Georgia McGovern.
Yeah,
that's going to be a huge change for them.
I mean, we'll get to setting in a minute, but the one thing we can rely on is Malory middles. No Grace Lazard today, but obviously they've got the returnings, Jaden Scott, Steph Karoy. Like, they've got that core group down the middle that really holds the defense together.
Yeah, definitely. So, and of course they've got pin hitters. JoJo Cruz is back, and Chloe Allen as well. So plenty of stuff to see happen this year.
And it says the depth of the Malory team has always been a strong point. We talked about it last year over and over again, Final Four. If something's not working, Jefferson Williams, Carol Gordon, Ian LeGrand have got a way to make a change.
Oh yeah, they have so much flexibility. They have, I think, 4 setters on the full team roster, but so they have plenty of changes that they can make. They can completely change their system. They can run a 5-1, a 6-2, just depends on what's working, what's not.
But yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting, because there's always a target on your back when you come in as a national champion, Jess. There's always the what if, but Malory don't mind that pressure. We saw last year, this group thrives for big moments.
Oh yeah, they really do. Or at least they did last season, and I know Carol mentioned that they had something really special last year, and it's going to be really difficult to replicate that this season. I know that they'll be trying their best, and you know that they're going to come out here and put everything out on the court for every match they play.
And just talk about the dynamic right now for both these teams. They've been here a long time. Arrival time of these teams was 1:30. It's now 5 o'clock, so they've been in the gym 3.5 hours. Had to warm up midway through set number 3, because you never know what's going to happen with that Lionheart-Summit game. So you've been warming up for an hour and 32 hours. Mentally, that's a lot for these players to handle.
Yeah, it is. It kind of throws your rhythm off when you're expecting to play at a certain time, and we're an hour and a half later than their originally planned start time. But it's also just something that they have to come to expect, because it happens. You never know what's going to happen with the previous match. And they've been in this situation before on opening weekend.
Indeed, and it'll be very interesting. This Malory team just dropped one game last season. That was at home-ish to Team Side Out. They play at the same venue a lot of the times at the University of East London Sports Dock. So really interesting dynamic for Malory. They've got a lot to live up to against a team with nothing to lose, and that's what some said to us in the pre-game. They feel like this is a celebration of success. They've got promoted. Some of these players on the Knights team used to play Division 2. So for them to come up, they've got nothing to lose. They're going to come out big and really test this Malory structure early on.
Yeah, and they'll play in a way that, you know, Malory's not used to seeing. A lot of teams in Division 2 and even Division 1 are really scrappy, which you see a lot more organization a lot of times in the Super League team. So they might have balls picked up that they're expecting that they have gone straight down to the floor, and then suddenly it's still up and, you know, they have 4 free balls coming back at them.
It's really interesting. Obviously, talk about the coaching staff. Just behind us, got Carol Gordon, normally super energetic, just taking a moment to think. Obviously, she's done such a big job, not just with Malory, but Sam Shen and Carol Gordon, a big part of the England women's setup as well, and obviously Sam on the men's side as well. But the development of English coaches as well has really come through with these 2 coaching groups, and they are going to throw adjustments at each other left, right, and centre.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you would expect is, you know, they know each other, they know each other's styles. They have some idea of some of the players that are on either side of the net, so it's just how they manage those matchups with the players that they've got.
Well, we're expecting the players to come off any so shortly for the photo toss. We're going to make our way over and get some pre-game thoughts. But Jess, what's the one area you think for Newcastle that's like when you look at the roster as a whole? What's the one area that jumps out? Do you think that every team in Super League needs to be watching out for?
For Newcastle?
Yeah.
I'm not sure actually. I think it's a little bit of an unknown for me. So I've not seen a lot of these players, but you know, they've got some exciting new faces, and like you said, a couple of Americans coming in, so they'll be playing some exciting volleyball.
Indeed, so we'll take a quick walk over as the warm-ups go, but you can see both teams probably happy with an extra couple of minutes just because of, again, over the other side, no volleyball, so you've been kind of starved of the one thing you're used to, trying to stay loose and stretched, so we'll start to head over there. But Jess, while we go over, what have you seen in the first 2 games about the first set not dictating the rhythm and teams' ability to kind of park mistakes?
Yeah, we've seen teams really struggle in the early sets to kind of organize themselves in a way that they're shaking mistakes off within the set, but once they come off the court and then between sets, they're having that kind of like mental reset, which has kind of enabled those 2-3 set reverse sweeps. So it's just about how can teams do that mid-set rather than between sets.
Well, they've done the photos in the other orders, so maybe we should carry on walking to the end and we'll chat with Sam Shenton first.
Yeah.
As both teams getting their opening weekend photos, obviously individual photos as well. But this Newcastle team is going to be so fascinating because you said we don't know a lot. But the one thing we know is the big hitting Jenna Vasco on the opposite position. We're going to talk about her down the stretch, but having that lefty in the opposite, we've seen change the blocking angles a little bit last year as well. So that's going to be a really interesting factor for Malory to figure out.
Yeah, definitely. So hopefully Sam will give us some good insights in just a moment's time.
We'll just see if we can grab his attention.
Hello.
Hi, Sam.
Hey, Jess.
Right. So, exciting match, opening day against the reigning champions.
Absolutely. I maybe would have picked them to have the introduction to the Super League kind of match. You know, it's great to take on the champions. Some great people there. Claire, Chloe Allen. It's going to be an awesome test for us.
Yeah.
We played Durham earlier in the season for Bucks. This is the next step for us to build onto.
Yeah. What are you trying to bring most to the game today to make sure you're staying in it?
Absolutely. Block defense for sure. There's people that we have to really respect and look after when they're over on that sort. So serve pressure and then kind of scheming the block is going to be massive for this game today.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So excited for the season and opening day?
Absolutely, great to be here. Last year we were, Southampton away and it was a little bit rough. Now we're here. It's where we want to be as a program and as a university, so we're on the right track. So it's great to be here.
Okay, well, congratulations again on the promotion, and
Champion.
we're looking forward to watching the match.
Thank you very much, Jess. Have a good
Thank
one.
you. Right, so we're just going to try and catch up with the coaching staff for Malory Eagles now.
Thanks, Jess. We'll just see who we can grab because Chloe Allen is going to coin toss, so there's a good excuse. Jefferson Williams has also disappeared, so I don't know who we can bring in. Harry, come chat. Here we go.
Hi.
So, Harry, obviously, new group for you, obviously, call back, but talk about the bedding in process for Malory, because we talk about it time and time again. You and Chloe have got a big part, along with Jojo and Sophie, the returners, to kind of bed this in. How's that gone in pre-season?
Honestly, it's amazing. We did have a lot of girls join us. We're honestly super excited to find our rhythm.
to see what we got. I think it might be the first game of some of us playing with a bit of a crowd, so it's also very exciting to see how they're gonna play. But honestly, we're super pumped, and yeah, we're ready to get season going.
And just talk about newly promoted team in Newcastle. You watched the men game yesterday go to 5. Kind of what's the challenge of placing a newly promoted team that's got no pressure on opening day?
I mean, I feel they just got promoted. They're coming for it. You get me? They're also super excited to be here. We did play them last year in Cup, but they also have a totally different team. We have a totally different team, so it's just going to be, I don't know, it's going to be interesting, to be honest.
Well, I believe you got to go hit, so we'll go let you warm up, but best of luck and have a great season.
Thank you so much.
Thoughts of the Malory libero, and what we might as well talk about Ari right now, just briefly. We talked about that course team, but she does such a good job holding up that back end of the defense.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you want in a libero. Not only is she excellent, but she's also really amazing at keeping everybody organized on both service reception and defense, letting her players know where adjustments need to be made so that they can be more effective as the match wears on.
Indeed, as both teams starting the hitting warm-ups. Harriet, Phil Edwards, Ari Sierra, first hit is always great when as Jess, you can say it as a libero, how much it's fun with the liberos hitting first.
Yeah, it's so much fun, especially when you can bounce it like these guys. So.
Obviously, we talked about the departures, so let's talk about the Malory setting because it's a really intriguing thing. We know they ran multiple systems last year. Claire Kellum's back in, but everything else is brand new. Emily Feller, an American, Gabby Nobrega from Lionhearts in the squad. So how do you think Malory are going to kind of use different setting options to kind of find ways to find the hitters early on this season?
I think it's going to be key to make sure that they're having those good connections with the middles. So middles were such a huge part of the offense for Malory last season, and it was part of why they were so dominant in all of their matches. If they can rekindle that spark this season, then they are, potentially on for another flyer.
But obviously all 3 sets bringing slightly different styles because Kellum's more of a hitter, Nobrega's got that kind of a Brazilian background, and then you've got obviously American and Emily Feller coming in. So Malory going to be able to really mix it up, and just with the depth of attack, that we will see multiple setting changes, we believe, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And as a team playing against them, it's almost a bit of a nightmare because you might see, one setter's going to run one tempo and the next setter's going to run a completely different tempo and maybe slightly different plays. They might have more or less stacks, or they'll run some B-balls, and yes, it's tough to keep up with on the defensive side.
So let's talk about Newcastle a little bit more before I head upstairs for this game. Obviously the unknown, but we've seen the time and seen today the middles are going to create a lot of important size because that's kind of dictating all the blocking schemes, and especially early on in the first 2 games we've seen the block dictate a lot of things. So how important is it that Newcastle with 2 brand new middles, Rennie Kill goes out the squad, she's ill as well, so last minute replacement, but you've got a 6'3" replacement Lauren tends to be able to bring in.
Yeah, I mean, I think the middles are going to be really key on both sides of the net, but for this Newcastle side especially, and Sam actually mentioned in that interview that I've just had with him that it's going to be those containing block touches that are going to be the defining factor for his side.
And that's what we've seen all day long. It's the block touch. It's not necessarily block kill. So but it's interesting that Newcastle have to make that late adjustment. It's a big thing to go. Before I go upstairs, Jess, prediction for this one. Obviously, Malory coming in as strong favourites, but as we've seen, the twists and turns of today. So what do you think Newcastle can do, and how are they going to get on?
I think if they can put on some really strong service pressure, but avoiding Ari in the reception, they can maybe take things a little bit off piece, but with the new rule changes, that might be a little bit more difficult, easier said than done maybe.
Yeah, we'll see what Malory do, but I'm going to head upstairs. I'll be joined by Newcastle men's set Neil Ray. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Malory Newcastle coming up. as I've made my way up into the commentary position. We're about 6 minutes away from opening serve here in the third game of the MAAREE Women's Super League. As we do with every game, we're going to have a look at some players to really focus in on, and for the Newcastle Knights, we're going to have a look at one of their starting outsides, wearing Daisy Boardman, who's in the hitting lines. And Daisy making her Super League debut. Spoke to her earlier as we were waiting around during the line height side out. Her career is obviously going to start as well for Sam Shenton, and what Sam told me about Daisy was the development, especially over the last year or so, has been massively crucial in kind of getting her ready and part of the England under-20 and under-22 setup. So he's got really high hopes for Daisy on the back end. The one area still want to see some improvement in is the passing, as Neil Ray joins me in commentary. Neil, we're just talking about Daisy, obviously someone you know well from being, and just her development that's really impressive, and she's ready to start in the Super League. It's a big testament to the work she put in, especially last year.
Absolutely. First and foremost, want to thank again Volleyball England for having me, and comms, Neil Ray, Newcastle local these days. And speaking of our Knights, yeah, Daisy's taken on a much larger role this year, coming into her second year. Had an excellent, debut season, playing in Div 1, playing Bucks at a very high level, and obviously, has been developing through the England channels for many years now. So it's been exciting to see how she's grown, especially this year with a bit more responsibility on her shoulders.
And I think the one thing that came through is confidence. She's now starting to feel like she's playing the best volleyball. She's okay with making some mistakes, whereas before it always held her back a little bit, but it's like that next growth is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell that she's maturing a lot as a person and a player, and I think it's exciting to see, especially on the volleyball court, just kind of how much she's grown individually.
And on the other side for Malory, we're going to talk about what was rightly considered the best libero in the league last year, the linchpin to that defence in the Final Four, and that's Ari Sierra back in the red jersey. And Neil, it's so important to have that confidence in your libero, but the one thing we know about Ari is she's going to fly for every ball, even the one that you're never going to get. She's just going to put that pressure on and make her presence known on the court.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's one of the most dominant players in the league. She showed it last year, especially when it mattered the most. And it's very exciting to watch, even if you're not a volleyball fan. Seeing somebody flying around like that is very exciting, which is why I think that they very much enjoy the Newcastle Knights libero, Lexi Applebach, making her Super League debut here. She is going to have an immediate impact on this team as she did last year. So I think it's going to be a great duel of the defenders in 5 today. Very excited to watch it play out.
Yeah, and I think with Ari as well, the vocal presence in the leadership, but she's the one person that in game plans, and this is where the new rules come in, that generally you don't serve at Ari.
Yeah,
but
very true.
With the experience of the Malory coaching staff, the fact that Ari's going to be able to move on ball toss, potentially we may see some funky things to try and just get some touches, because she's used to being starved of the volleyball. Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's going to be interesting how they kind of manipulate those new rules. It changes the game a lot, and obviously the first thought is a change for the setter, being able to get to the setter spot earlier, but again, with a top libero like that, it's going to make a huge impact on being able to steal some balls, steal some seams. I think it's going to be interesting how this passing unit kind of adjusts with these new freedoms that they have.
Indeed, and obviously a big day. Obviously, don't want to harp on too much about yesterday, obviously, but these games have been so competitive. Obviously, a little bit of revenge for the women, perhaps, after watching what happened yesterday?
I hope so. I can definitely feel it. I mean, this group is primed and ready. A lot of young players, a lot of dynamic additions, a lot of great imports, and I think it's going to be interesting. I think that they would love to make a statement here about how they can compete with top Super League talent, especially facing the, I would say, the clear best side from last season. Let's see if Malory can kind of defend that title, and if the newcomers can, put their own stamp on this league and let them know that they're here to play.
Yeah, so warm-up's nearly underway. We're a couple of minutes away from getting into the starting sevens. And Neil, I'm just going to rely on your expertise. Obviously, you see the women train. You've been around them a lot. Kind of, what's the one thing that you've kind of got from the pre-season? Obviously, you've been together for 5-6 weeks as a team. What's the one thing that you've seen the most growth in the women's program at Newcastle through
it's a great question.
Opening week?
I would say the camaraderie and kind of that gelling is definitely something that has been stressed upon, especially having a ton of new players, new people from different areas, different clubs. I think it's going to be one of those things where this team is going to get better every single game that they have, and that's been a huge focus, getting to know each other, figuring out who's supposed to be where, who's going to be in what roles, who's going to put put away the out-of-system balls, who's going to cover the you know what I mean? It's one of those things where a new side with a bunch of new players, you have to figure those little things out, especially early in the season, and that's definitely what they've been doing. So I'm excited to see kind of how it shakes out here in their first match all together. Obviously, there's been some Bucks action, but it's a much different level than what we're seeing here, especially against a strong side like Malory.
As the two teams going to meet at the Nelson. These two met in the National Cup last season. Malory, as they did to a lot of teams last year, 3-0 sweep, but there were moments in that game that the Knights were definitely competitive, and I know talking to Sam Shent in the build-up that he's able to just reflect on that game a little bit more now over the summer, knowing they had Malory first up, just to take a couple of key takeaways from that game as our officials coming onto court are lead official for this game, Richard Burbridge, and our second referee, Claudia Floria. And the referees have done a really good job with the comms this week. Obviously, we had a little bit of hiccup this morning with the screening. I don't know if you were in the building.
I don't know if I saw
some
that.
legal things, but I know it's been a little talked about in the pre-game briefing as well. So officials, though they make mistakes, it's been communicated and always trying to get better as we expect. As Malory, first team onto the floor, led by ever reliable captain Chloe Allen. And they'll be joined by number 1, Steph Croy, formerly known as Steph Boys, married over the summer. Congratulations to Steph. Number 2, Gabby Nebrega, the signing from London Lionhearts, getting the setting start. Number 6, Jaden Scott. And number 11, Claire Kellum, who will play in the opposite position. But that's the dynamic Malory had, is that she'll start in the oppo, but we know she can set, and then Jojo Cruz will get the start as the second outside for Malory. And over Jefferson Williams, some of the decisions he had to make was tough with the squad depth, and of course Ari Sierra as the libero. So that is your starting 7 for your reigning champions.
It's a strong side.
And the experienced coaching staff of Malory, Carol Gordon, Ian Legrand, Andrew Mashemi, and of course Jefferson Williams, as we now welcome the newly promoted team to the Super League to the court, and that is Newcastle Knights, and led out by their new captain Jodie Amore. Jodie, a couple of years ago playing Division 2 North, and from what I heard, it wasn't the prettiest volleyball at times, but a big opportunity for her to lead a side out as captain in the Super League for the first time
She's
ever.
taken a great leadership role in this team.
Obviously part of the coaching staff as well, and I know she had a big smile on her face, but even if things go wrong today, I'm going to enjoy the experience, and that's great for the Knights.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all about having the right mindset here. It's all about having the right mindset. Two new imports as well that we've just missed. Jenna and Bell, 2 Americans, players that are in an opposite, have made immediate impacts on this side. And there's Boardman, and then Tenzin coming out as well in the middle, huge presence. And then we've got Amber here, a Northumbria player. Rest of the side's Newcastle. And finally, at the libero, that's Lexi Applebach. And I am excited to watch this side work. This is a spirited group, and they are raring to go. And I'm excited to see what they do against this very experienced, proven side.
Yeah, and something we talked about with Jess downstairs is obviously a bit of a blow yesterday. Renee Huo ill, unable to travel, but always nice when you got a 6'3" middle off the bench ready to go. It's going to be a big task for Tenson in the middle, but she's more than capable of stepping up, and that height is going to be important against Malory, just to slow down, and those containing block touches that we've seen are so important.
Absolutely. It's definitely going to be a battle in the middle here. You've got to try to slow down the Malory middles, and you've got to establish your own to free up the pin hitters here, because if you become pin heavy, these middles are they're going to eat you up. So you've got to spread the sugar early.
So game number 3 about to get underway. 2 reverse sweeps in the book. Maybe you want to lose the first set. Who knows?
Seems to be the trend so far.
But what you want to do is start well on serve, and it'll be Knights to serve first. It'll be the setter, Isabel Hogan, opening the serve up for the Newcastle Knights. And we are underway. Game number 3 of the MAAREE Women's Super League. Allen off the receive, straight into the block of Jenna Vask. And a block out. And a strong start for the Malory captain, getting the first ball of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great swing. You've got to just turn that outside hand a bit more. She's timed it perfectly. She's up. She's got the height to stuff back in, but she's got to turn that outside hand in and make sure that we're containing those outside swings.
So Karoy, as Malory often like to do, middle serving first, as Vask goes and splits the hands of Jaden Scott. And Genevas, the lefty opposite, highly explosive, and going to be a big outlet for the Knights early in the season.
Absolutely. I mean, she's one of the most consistent attackers on this team. She's got the heaviest swing on the court.
Referees all over screening already as the Newcastle Knights able to. Jodie Moore asked just to separate by another meter. Points out Allen, and Allen goes into the net off the serve.
I don't know, that
Daisy
celebration,
Baldwin.
I think that might have been into the block there. That's a big smile. Maybe she's just taking credit for it. Let's throw a BA on the stat sheet for her. You know, why not? Let's get the gals going early.
As Boardman targeting Cruz down the middle. Nebrega. Allen goes with the tip. Set just a little bit too tight. Bask one-on-one, and she splits the block of Allen, and Jaden Scott was getting there late. Cameras go flying in the background.
Yep. Jenna Vask, welcome to the Super League. Let's watch that one again. She's left her mark and possibly left a mark in the ground. There's a molten-sized mark there. I'm pretty sure we might have to get that fixed up, but we're going to play on.
As Cruz, perfect pass. Scott on the slide, can't get it to go, but Allen gets the one-on-one. Daisy Boardman with the dig. Great save by Hogan. That's going to go out, but Chloe Allen plays it. Kellum from the back row. Great early 10 ball for Claire Kellum to get her afternoon going.
Yep. You got to get the back row active here, keep the blockers true, because if they can shade out to the outside, especially with a live setter, then it's going to be a problem with, you know, a consistent 2-woman block there instead of, you know, kind of having a more spread balanced look, which is what that 10 definitely establishes. You've got to stay true now if you're 10's in.
So Nebrega back on the service line. Hogan trying to go to Vast down the middle, a little bit different for the opposite, and confusion as everyone tried to get to their normal position, but Hogan with a great idea doesn't quite find the kill. Gabby Nebrega with the uppers. Allen pushes Applebatch deep into the corner. Malory again out of system. Well, not really, as Kellum gets to set and Allen takes advantage, and there is the perfect indication of a two-setter system. The normal traditional setter takes ball one, but Claire Kellum recognises it, gets to the middle and sets her captain.
It's a great swing there. I mean, if you're Tenson, you've just got to keep your hands true. These Malory outsides are hitting hard enough where if you're not true, then the ball's going to go flying in all types of directions, and that's not what we're looking for.
So Boardman to a knee, great pass, but just a little bit of a misconnection, trying to find Lauren Tenson.
I like the idea. I mean, establishing the middle and medium system is very important to keep these blockers true, but I think you got to let a big hitter like that just have a little bit more airtime, something to work with. Even if you can't get a swing, you can find a power tip and keep the rally going there, but I like the idea.
Tough to put the ball over. 6'3", Lauren Tenson as Boardman targeted on the serve receive. Maybe that's one the libero can take in Applebatch, but Daisy Boardman called for it early and thought she couldn't quite find the pass, and Gabby Nebrega on a service run for her new team, the Brazilian.
Yeah, I mean, it's those little things there. It's just communication, figuring out seams, figuring out responsibilities that is going to be very important for this team.
As another great serve. That was flat and hard. Clipped the net tape, going right at Daisy Boardman on the cross. And Richard Burbridge nearly needing his hands to protect himself, but Nebrega back-to-back aces. Sam Shenton looks a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough serve to handle there, but if you're Boardman, you got to put a little more airtime under it. But she's definitely working. That one is going to need way more airtime there, as it doesn't even find the top of the tape. Tough error there after a nice run of two, but Knights are exuberant about it.
Get out the rotation. We know how important that is. As coming into the middle, Amber Jacoby Myers, the American middle, as Sierra gets her first ball of the day. Scott calls for it nice and early. Great stab by Hogan as Amor goes down the line. Kellum has to wait on it. As down the middle, Boardman from the pipe. Sierra, perfect pass. And Kellum can't find the kill. Jenna Valsk able to get there with the block.
Yep, that's the hands that you need there. She's learned one, she's been tooled already, and that one she's turned in, pressed, and it goes straight down. They've got no chance to cover. Excellent out-of-system set from Tenson there in the middle, and Amor putting a nice line shot there to get him in kind of that medium system where you can really attack him as a defense.
Strong serve down the line, but Allen handles it well. Kellum comes in off the pin, and
yeah, Jarecki Myers is there. She's just a bit late, and her hands aren't pressed all the way. She's in the right spot, but she's got to get there and press in, especially with these high-hand Malory hitters. Another error there.
Into the net. Back-to-back service errors for Malory, but a couple of aces as well.
Yeah, a couple early errors here for this Malory side. You got to think that they're going to kind of settle into the match here as we get into the middle system. And Jenna Vass just a bit too much pepper jack on that one as it flies past the back line. She's looking for that deep spot. Clearly the game plan here is to target the front court outside in that deep 5 spot. Obviously they're staying far away from the libero, which is, I believe, a smart decision. So it'll be interesting to see if they can kind of keep that service pressure and, just take a step off these Malory outsides approach.
As Mai's just warned about a hand placement as well. She'll get the ball and beats Karoy and Cruz. Jodie Cruz has stepped in on it, but big early swing for the middle. And again, you can see where Newcastle want to get the ball early, trying to get the middles involved.
I mean, it's a great run there. Perfect pass, sets in. I mean, she finds easy hands there. No chance for the defenders to make a play on it. It's an excellent start there for the middle run. Nice serve from Moore.
Right on to the 3-meter line. Kellum goes tip. And she pushes it deep into the corner. I think Applebach read the tip but didn't expect power tip. And a nice change in rhythm by Kellum. And she'll head back to the line, her 3rd kill of the opening set.
Yeah, it's a good spot there. I think you've got to have a defensive scheme for that deep corner. Is the outside meant to go get it? Excellent pass from Applebach. Sets the outside. That's no touch, but it's been played out, pushed in. Going to roll over the top of the block. Nice pickup by Amore. This one's going to get pushed all the way out to Boardman. She's going to swing into the block. Oh, covered, but saved by Applebach. Pushed deep now. We're going to be running the middle here. And a nice block from Amber. Into the 10, swing cross court. Saved by Vass. It's going to be an overpass here. Out of system for the Eagles. Let's see where the swing goes. Off the hand and an unfortunate net touch regardless of the kill. It's a great rally there from the Knights and the Eagles. I think this is going to be a very high-level match here today, especially from a very experienced side and a very fresh side.
But again, you say out of system, but that's your second setter on the court setting it, so it's somehow in system. The joy of the Malory offense, and it's kept Keane's guessing last year, and that versatility is the one weapon this side has. Kellum attacking and gets the 3rd ace of the game for Malory. Claire Kellum having a really strong start. And Sam Shenton maybe having a little bit of concern about this passing unit. The first contact's so important.
Yeah, I mean, they're targeting the outsides here, which I do believe is the game plan going in. As you can see, they've stayed away from Applebach in the middle. That's going to go short, but that one's picked up pretty well. High
Boardman
ball, nice swing, just a bit outside.
But again, that ball being really narrow for Daisy Boardman. She had a lot of work to do, and Sam Shenton immediately wanting to make a change. Katie Ollie's going to check in. And she'll replace Jodie Immort. So
I like the DS play here. Get somebody else in the passing unit. Katie Ollie is a normal libero here, but already 2 libs kitted up, so she is in the defensive specialist role, which I do like. She told me earlier that I should hype up how great she's doing on the bench, and she finds herself in only 19 points into the first set.
And unfortunately, straight off the bench and straight into another error, and Sam Shenton, no one on the bench, so gets the timeout the old-fashioned way, just asks the referee, but really right now Malory putting on a ton of serving pressure. And it's really interesting, Neil, because when we look back at the Final Four and the Cup final last year, that was the weakness in the Malory game, was how often they could generate consistent serving pressure.
Absolutely.
But right off the rip, new season, in theory it should be harder to create serving pressure with some of the rules, easier for the serve-receive team, but they've managed to put that on, and the Knights not quite finding the rhythm.
Yeah, I would say that it's definitely one of their strong suits now in this early set. I mean, they've kept them out of system. When they've been in system, they have done very well, but I would say that if this passing unit, if they don't make an adjustment here on these floats, then it will be problems. So we'll see how Applebach takes command here and maybe make some adjustments. Malory.
I was going to say, even when they're up, Jefferson Williams somehow never happy, but also going to give a shout out to the Malory starting setter from last year, Georgia McGovern, joining us from Germany. Saw a couple of Georgia's trademark setter kills in their game in Germany. Yesterday is another ace as Newcastle really struggling to contain, and the Malory bench loving what they're seeing from Claire Kellum, serving sub really in the final last year.
Yep. She's found a much bigger role now and doing well. Newcastle's got to get out of this rotation here. We've got to get reset. Got to just put a pass high here. We can't be looking for perfection onto the net. That's fine.
As Boardman to about the 4-meter line. Allen's going to play it. Didn't know if to leave it or not. Cruz gets the angle, and that one just misses the baseline.
Yep.
Wasn't a bad swing by Cruz, but good recognition by the Knights. And they'll get out of that rotation, but it's a 6-point deficit early on.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, just like what I was saying, you've got to just put those passes high, especially if you're in a passing rut as a unit here. You've got to put it high and let your hitters have a chance, because if you're trying to dance it too close to the net, then that's when you get overpasses, you get aces. So I think that was the right move there. And speaking of aces, the Knights have found one of their own from Jarecki Myers there. Middle blocker has put an early stamp on this game with a kill and an ace, as Tenson's rotated back into the front.
I do really think we need to get rid of the term blocker, because middles can definitely do more than block, and we saw an absolute serving clinic earlier from one of the Durham middles in the opening game as Cruz goes into the block, taking advantage of the slightly undersized Isabel Hogan, not quite pressing down and over.
Yep. As we say, you're here. I know you guys can't see me, but you got to be here. Press that outside hand in. Again, they're getting used off the outside there, which is just too easy of a kill for these outsides here.
As Applebatch takes command, little slide run. Sierra with a ridiculous pickup on the line swing. Great recognition by Nobrega to keep the point alive as Boardman finds Sierra yet again. And Chloe Allen with the tip, great cover. Daisy Boardman's going to track it down on the angle. Allen's got a free swing on one, and she makes no mistake. The Malory bench love it, but that all starts with Ari Sierra and the defense, because that slide,
I mean, it's a clinical run there.
Convinced that was a kill.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was too. It's a perfect pass from Applebach, perfect set from Hogan there, and a great swing and just a better dig. It's unfortunate for the Newcastle side to get a great pass like that and to not have it produce.
Boardman goes over the setter. Cruz with the stab. Malory scrambling, and Sierra gives up the free ball. Early call by Applebach. Boardman
absolutely lights the lamp there. Puts her stamp on the game early. A few great digs from Malory. Let's see that one again, but this one is undiggable as she absolutely pounds it. Another perfect pass from Applebach and a perfect set from Hogan has set up an excellent offensive sequence there. But again, great defense from the Eagles staying alive in that rally.
As the serve closer to the underside of the net than the top of the net, but again, Isabel Hogan trying to just change the serving location up and keep Malory guessing.
I like the idea. I mean, they've been serving deep down the line, and I think it's not a bad idea to keep these Malory outsides and passing unit on their toes a bit.
As Ollie puts the ball skyward. It's going to be tight for Vasco, who's not really had much of the ball in the recent points, as Kellum goes with the tip.
Great dig.
As Applebatch with the pickup, but gets Allen, and she's given line, and she takes it. Chloe Allen hit that one, and that's definitely a floor denter as well, and this Malory offense just humming nicely.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great dig from Applebach there, but it's just terminated by the Eagles. That's clinical. They are very effective in free ball situations. And the ball's been called out. Me as a Newcastle fan have to agree. Me as a volleyball watcher have to say that was definitely in the corner. But you know what? They can't be perfect up there.
Yeah, I just had Jess Smith to our left and keeping up, who's got an even better view than us, as much as we're closer to the sideline this side. Said it was probably in by a good 6 inches, but
it's all right. Hey, the Knights will take any points they can get here, down 7 in this early set. Ball don't lie, as that one sails long.
I was going to say, there's that is a most definite justice point.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. We enter the kind of late game here on the side for Malory. Newcastle still warming in here. Love to see their offense get going a bit more, maybe get Vask more involved on the right side.
Instead, the ball goes away as Amor checks in once again. Missed that sub, and Vask finally gets a swing, but can't find the cross-court angle, and Sam Shannon wants to talk it over. And really now, Neil, this is about finding something going into set 2. But as we said at the top of the broadcast, maybe losing set 1 is the recipe.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if reverse sweeps are on the menu, then, I mean, why not order it if you're the Knights here? I think that the Malory Eagles also, with the service pressure, I think they're going to stay on the outsides the rest of this game here. You can see they've struggled for sure, as the rest of the unit has been perfect so far. So I think it'll be interesting to see how the outsides can hold up, because every ball that's been on Applebach has been dimed. So I would assume that will stop to slow down here as the outsides have been struggling a bit. But if they can warm up into this game and this passing unit can get on the same page overall, I think that they could have a much closer margin here for sure.
So Malory with 8 kills, 5 aces, contributing to that 20-point total.
Yeah, I mean, that's the story right there. It's that ace discrepancy is just too wide if you want to stay involved in a set. You can't be aced 5 times.
As Vass going to get the swing, but that clips the antenna again. A little bit of an overset for the lefty. You want that ball a little bit on the short side, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's the right idea. The tempo's the right thing. I mean, she's airborne for it, but it's just a bit wide there past the pin, and she's got to put her right hand on it and makes an unfortunate error. I think you've got to assume that this connection will only get better as the season goes. And speaking of goes, that ball is going to go far out of bounds there as Newcastle get a freebie. And Jarecki Myers comes back in here in the middle. Definitely one of the more dominant hitters in this front row here with Vask. I think if you're going to get some points back, this is the row to do it. And that's not going to get any points back there as Tenson finds the net. She had a great one down the line earlier, looking for a similar result, but that one is not going to make the tape there. I think the story so far, besides the service pressure, it's just the Knights warming into this game, and I think the Malory Eagles being much more experienced, they don't need much warming. You know, they've been here, and you know, despite the few service errors that they've had, they've been pretty consistent here. And Newcastle, when it's good, it's great, but they need to warm into this game a bit faster as we see a double sub here.
Double sub, and I knew Sam Shannon knew this was a possibility, planned for it. Vass takes a break. Harriet Philp Edwards, the former Malory setter, into the lineup. And in the opposite spot as Hogan takes a break, in comes weighing number 15, Maddie Montero. So Philp Edwards on the service line. One of the few Knights players not making a Super League debut. As Allen goes way over the back from almost the back row herself.
Yeah, I mean, that's all starting from the serve there. She put some pressure on. They were actually out of system there and had to put over, you know, kind of one of those medium weird roll shots that just ended up going long. So that's all thanks to Harriet there. She puts in another nice short one. That one's passed much better, though.
As Callum finds the chest of Boardman. Great pickup by Daisy Boardman's Amor into the block of
What
Scott.
a cover.
Applebatch able to get there, but Malory in control of the point. Kellum, Cruz really tight.
That's an error.
Couldn't get to the left hand and finds the antenna, but a great pickup by Applebatch. Jaden Scott thought she'd won the point.
Nope.
Plate
She's all
to the
over
ball,
it.
hits the floor.
Yep, you're not going to get any free points on that side of the court, especially when it comes to covering. You've got to make sure you don't celebrate before that whistle goes off. Excellent pickup.
As Philp Edwards, Sierra with the rare error ball directly skyward. So Cruz gives up the free ball. Philp Edwards sets down the middle. That's a lovely little change up to Kirby Myers. Wide open, tips in. Jefferson Williams, time out, and that's much better from the Knights. The double sub working well. And Harriet Philp Edwards.
It's a great middle run there. You've got to get Jarecki Myers involved, especially as one of your bigger hitters against these Malory blockers. That it sets a bit low there, but again, great hitters adjust, and she works with it perfectly and turns it into a kill. I think the next one will be just right in her hitbox, and she might just obliterate it.
As Sam Shannon, not a lot needed of corrections.
I mean, what you want to do, especially being down, you know, they're down 11-19 at one point. It's all about getting momentum here. You're still down 6, and obviously crazier things have happened. I think it's within reason that they could come back and have a say in this set, but you want to build momentum for the next set. And that's what you're really looking for, especially in a deficit early. You want to start to build that energy going back forward.
So Philp Edwards finds Cruz, the ball just on the free midline. Allen from the pipe. Philp Edwards on the defense, so out of system. Appleback setting for Montero, and that just misses the sideline. But Maddie Montero trying to be aggressive on the cross court, and it's the right time to be aggressive. Need to put pressure on the Eagles as Jaden Scott to the service line. Jefferson Williams moving Jaden Scott's serving position over. I think she was going to go to the far side, in fact directly in front, and she's going to go line to Boardman. Over pass, and Cruz puts it away easy as you like. As Jojo Cruz, we'll get to see that one again. Christmas present all wrapped up.
Yeah, it's a great swing. It's a great swing. It's one of those points that you just got to let go. If you're the Knights, that's something that good hitters are going to terminate every time.
Overpass and going against a small setup as well. Perfect recipe is not quite sure if Philp Edwards meant that, but Jacoby Myers alive to it.
Yeah, I think she definitely did. I think Jacoby Myers wasn't quite ready for it.
Found a way to put a swing, and Malory take it pretty dominantly, 25-16. It's Claire Kellum leading the way, 6 points, 3 kills, 3 aces for the setting opposite, as we're going to call her.
Yep. Yeah.
Hybrid
definitely.
player Chloe Allen with 4 kills. 3 errors for Alano in set number 1. And
yeah, I mean, it's a dominant performance. No one can deny that from Malory. It's the service pressure early that really carried them throughout. I think the Knights definitely found their groove in the second half of the set once they warmed in a bit. Obviously, this is the first time for a lot of these girls playing Super League. It's a big environment, big moment. It's definitely something that you want to work into and kind of get the nerves out. For some of these younger players, especially having, a very less Super League experienced core. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this second set goes, as Newcastle did grab a bit of momentum there, forcing a Malory timeout, which I think is definitely something that people were not expecting here. So that's definitely a big positive for the Knights.
We can just see some of the Malory subs who come behind us still chatting. Obviously, the coaching staff having a word as well, but you can see the direction, the camaraderie that Malory are well known for. But for Newcastle, obviously, the game plan was to try and get Jenna Vask involved early, and she disappeared out of that set. It was interesting that she didn't see the ball. Is that where you expect now the ball to go a little bit more out to that right side early on, just to try and get her settled?
It has to, for sure. You've got to warm her into this game. You've got to get her going early. You've got to get the shoulder hot. I think it's tough being out of system so much, especially scrambling for balls. It's tough to set up and get your players good blocking situations. So I think they definitely tried to get her going in the late stages of that set, but again, the double sub came in, that was working. It's something that doesn't exactly bode well for a lot of volume. I think this set they'll definitely try to get her more involved, as well as the middle.
So we'll see what changes potentially are being made. We expect nothing for Malory's. Looks like that opening 7 as Leeds Gorse and Essex Rebel women patiently waiting their turn. Obviously, probably not a bit, but what I want to get to, Neil, is the long wait for both of these teams. Me and Jess talked about it down the stairs, and you talked about starting slow, but it's expected. These athletes were kind of warming up for an hour and a half, because at 2-0 you have to start warming up in case that game's done and you're on.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where your mentality has to stay the same. Even with an extended break like that, you have got to stay ready, stay active, stay focused, which obviously is difficult to do with such a big gap in between matches. But I think that you can see these teams are both now kind of in the flow here, especially the Eagles, who definitely took that set handily. But a lot of momentum on the Knights side, and we'll see how this set shakes out.
So Newcastle look like they're going to stay with the 7 that started the game. I'm not saying we've got a commentator distracting anyone up here, but he's trying.
Sorry, guys. I am a bit biased.
Malory in a slightly different rotation order. It's going to be Jojo Cruz to open the serving in set number 2, as Newcastle stay with the same group that opened up the game. So Boardman, Amor and Abelbach in the serve-receive unit. Boardman wants the ball back off the pass and opens up with a lovely swing. That's a confidence builder for Daisy Boardman. Perfect pass, perfect put away.
Yeah, I mean, that's clinical right there. That's what you have to do if you want to be successful outside in this league. You've got to pass and hit, and you've got to transition quickly. And she does that, finds a high hand swing into the deep corner. That's going to score a lot. That's going to be a very successful play there. It's a great set from Hogan as well.
As Nebrega sets Allen on the tight ball, and Chloe Allen able to just change the shot type up with the tip.
Yeah, I mean that's a great spot there. If you're Newcastle, you've got to be disappointed about losing that one. You've got to pick that ball up.
As Karoy goes to Boardman, a little bit overpass, and Jaden Scott so patient.
Yep.
That is so easy for the middle, just to get eager and to hammer it down, and she just waits that patience, knowing she's going to find a put away either way.
Yeah, I mean it's very disciplined, and it's one of those things. If you're a good blocker, you're going to be able to do that consistently without touching the net.
That's tight again, but Newcastle able to raise it. Nobrega with a great one-handed pickup, and Allen into the block. I think Tenson thought she might have had that one
trying to
lined
sell
up.
it. I like it. You celebrate if it's yours, and maybe the ref will believe you. Yeah, it's a nice middle run there. Great set, and another excellent dig from the Eagles. They're playing very scrappy defense. It's one of their team identities for sure.
As there's a big one. Vask Allen over on 2, finds the seam in the defense, and Chloe Allen just making magic happen.
Yeah, I mean it's a simple shot right into the swimming pool on the court, and it's just not picked up by the Knights there. That's got to be more disciplined on the defensive side and scoop up those easy ones.
As Karoy ends the service run, but the other thing about Allen is, as much as you said simple, the ball was still very central for the right-hander hit. Just the presence of mind, just to scoop it over.
Absolutely.
That's what makes Chloe Allen so dangerous, as Daisy Boardman trying to find some pressure, and Allen watches that one wide of the service line.
Just a bit outside there. Very close, looking for the line. It's the right idea, trying to get the outside kind of into a weirder system spot, but just misses it there. It's an unfortunate error, as the lead is up to 3 now for the Eagles. You're Newcastle, you've got to kind of get back into this game early and not let it get away from you.
As Nebrega tests out Boardman again, and Jaden Scott comes and closes the gap, and that's a monster on Jenna Vask.
It's a great block there, great close, clinical. Obviously the setter running towards the 2 spot there. You have to assume that the ball's going to the opposite, and it's an excellent block there from the Eagles.
As a low serve, Applebatch on the money, middle play, Sierra doesn't quite make the pickup. Tenson didn't have the cleanest connection, but
That's
placement
all right.
more important.
They don't ask how, they ask how many there. Another dime from Applebach, perfect 3-ball into a great middle run and finds the center of the court. I mean, if you're Newcastle, that's got to be your game plan here. You just got to stay in system.
So Tenson, inserted into the starting group, misses the baseline. The Canadian from MacEwan University can't connect on that one. And Neil, you know Sam Shenton really well, obviously. How
I
frustrated
do. Maybe
do you
a bit
think,
too well.
how frustrated do you think he's going to be? That's the 6th service error, and they've all come like just as you feel like Malory have maybe just gone off the ball. These service errors just can't let this Newcastle team build momentum. As Scott comes in, Callum gets Boardman to make the one-handed stuff. As Jaden Scott again flying post to post. We've got the longest rally of the match. Vask with the tip, well read by Sierra. Slide for Kellum, and she brutes one down the line. Applebatch read it, but nowhere near getting to that one. And that is one we want to watch. Kellum covers so much ground on that slide. She started so central and just pinpoints that tape.
Yeah, it's a great swing there. Great rally from the Knights. A lot of good runs, but it's the Malory defense that really keeps that one alive, as they're making a lot of excellent digs there. And obviously a great slide run just missed there by the Newcastle Lib.
Scott wanting the ball, plays for the hands of Jerky Myers and gets the block touch. Jaden Scott really starting to warm up, and Sam Shannon wants to talk it over. No surprise, and it's all Jaden Scott right now. The amount of ground she's covering in the middle, trying to just close off and make the double block there. And that one just, again, the smart piece of hitting, seeing the hand up early and just being able to wipe it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a smart play there, especially in that medium system. If you're middle, you've got to be smart in those situations. Obviously, you don't need to try to put it, 3 feet into the ground there. You've just got to find a great play. And she gets an easy kill there off the outside pinky. That's a very high success middle shot there, finding the outside of the hand.
15th kill of the game already for Malory. So they've got a 6-point lead in set number 2 against the newly promoted Newcastle Knights. But as we said, maybe being 2-0 down is the recipe to 2 points.
Very possible. We've seen a lot of reverse sweeps this weekend, so it's possible we see another here, but we'll see. It'd be interesting if the Knights warm more up into this match here and kind of get the offense flowing here, as the Eagles seem very comfortable now with a 6-point lead.
Allen able to find a serve.
That's not comfortable. Attack. That's a great gap right there. Swung perfectly in the deep corner. That's what I've been saying all weekend. Good middle blockers hit into the deep corners because they know that that's the most successful shot if you are a very high-level attacker in the middle. It's a great run there.
And Izzy Hogan able to get her feet set perfectly on that one as Kellum goes to the roll again. Amor into the block. Jaden Scott, hand on it, and no tracking that one down for Applebatch. The ball flying in between the advertising hoardings. Probably the right placement for her, because if not, that may have been a bit more of a brute force landing as Amor takes a break, and I believe this will be Montero back into the game. No, it won't be.
No, this is a new signing here, a new university player as well.
Katerina Nevsic, who's obviously Super League experience,
yes,
played with Cambridge ARU last season, making the move. I nearly said north of the border, but we'll just go to the north. We're not that far north in Newcastle. As Scott with the middle defense, Nebrega off the net, and Allen goes for the deep tip, trying to attack. And Kellum with the second touch, but Chloe Allen wanting the better pass, but great awareness by Jenna Vass. That ball was getting pushed deep into the corner, nearly left a hole to fill.
It's a great transition run there as well. You've got to be able to successfully run the middles in transition if you want to win against a scrappy team like this. Yeah, that one's going to go just a bit out there, and not quite what she was looking for, obviously trying to attack that front court outside.
But again, it's just quick points when Newcastle get them. That's the service run that they need in this game. Just
Absolutely.
To let Malory know you're really in, as Kellum with the short serve going at the middle, and Daisy Boardman trying to go with the cut shot, but Claire Kellum on the service line able to find position 2, and always uncomfortable for a middle, getting caught out on the serve receive.
Definitely. I mean, it's handled very well, and Boardman looking for a sharp cross shot, which is the right move against a big block like that. Let's see what she does with her next chance. Down the line for an excellent kill there off the high hands. It's a very smart, mature swing, and she's rewarded with a kill as the deficit is cut back to 6.
Yeah, Kellum almost wish she ducked under that one, because Chloe Allen was flying in behind her to cover. I think she just assumed Kellum was reading the role potential and was stepping in, but
yeah. It's tough there. The deep corner shots, it's always about communication, and it's whatever your defensive system is. So it's definitely interesting to see how they handle it. And that's another service error here for the Knights. Definitely an unfortunate storyline that's unfolding here, especially against a top side like this. You got to try to limit those errors. Shentz definitely will not be happy about that, but I think that as they kind of get into this match now, in the middle points of set 2 here, you've got to hope that those errors will start to slow down.
As a little slide for Tenson, tipped back by Allen. So Newcastle in system. Nevzic going to have to only push it over. A missed potential opportunity. Karoy on the slide. Great hands. Does that go over by Kellum? No, it doesn't. But
excellent block there from Boardman. Closes down the slide, takes away the angle, and just stuffs it right back down. We'll watch that again. Excellent block defense there, and a way to press over and really find that straight down.
We've also got Malory somehow nearly keeping that one alive. That would have been some sort of ball wizardry, as Chloe Allen Cruz from the 3 goes in and past the baseline.
Yeah,
a couple in a row for Malory. So big moment here for Isabel Hogan to try and just put some pressure on.
You've got to take advantage of these Malory errors here early and try to bring the set at least a bit closer. Once you kind of approach that late middle game, you're going to want to be tighter here.
And that one plays tipsy at the net. Eventually comes back on the Malory side. Jefferson Williams 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Talks it over, and much better from Newcastle. But Malory serve receive. Just again, the
much better energy on that
the
side.
seam. And Sam Shelton finding a way to keep his side in it. 13-9 is the gap, as Jefferson Williams straight in and chatting things over.
Yeah, I think if you're Newcastle, you can't let this timeout kill your momentum, because right now clearly you have a bit of motion, a bit of energy coming in here, and you've got to try to remain it here and try to bring this set tighter, as I said. If you approach the middle game, the late game of this set, and you're down 5 or 6, it's going to be very tough to make a bid at winning it. We'll see what Hogan's got on the back line here. Again, 3 points in a row. We've got to keep the service pressure on now and keep Malory on their heels if we want to bring this set closer in now.
So Hogan off the timeout, no coach's point. Allen steps in front of Sierra, goes to the middle tip, and great scramble by the Knights, but free ball for the Eagles all the way out to Allen. And there's, I think, a net touch indeed there is by Jenna Vask. Or in fact, I think Isabel Hogan said that might have been her as well. It's one of the Knights players.
Somebody grabbed a bit of the lace there, which is, it's unfortunate, especially in a great defensive rally and a scrappy play. And I think if you're the Knights, that's got to be your identity here. You can't let any ball hit the floor for free. That has got to be the brand of volleyball that we want to play.
Vask goes line. Kellum with the dig. Nobrega's going to set the American Oppo. As Applebatch puts the ball in the air, blocks her opposite accidentally.
Yeah.
Jenna Vask from getting to it. And
yeah, it was a setter. Blocked the setter was behind her there. If you're the middle back, or the opposite might have to come in there. You've just got to communicate better, because Hogan obviously took the first, and then she's behind. It's unfortunate there. It's a tough error. And another one is going to drop in between Hogan and Vask. And Shentz is going to call a timeout here and kind of stop this manic energy going on right now. We've got to reset if we're the Knights.
Yeah,
A couple unfortunate errors.
I think maybe the women following the men a little bit too closely. You had a couple of those yesterday as well, but that's okay.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, I would say the videotape tends to disagree, but what I want to get to is early season, yes, a couple of university games, but again, some mixed squads as well. This is the first real game, so you actually, as much as the frustration errors go, you almost expect them in game one. If this happens in November, December, it's even more frustrating.
You're in trouble.
You're going to have a moment, game one is where you expect it to be an issue.
Yep. It's a new squad, and this is what I was talking about, the gelling. These things are going to happen, and it will be frustrating, but in 2-3 months' time, I think this unit will be much more cohesive, and those little mistakes will not be happening as frequently, if at all.
So Karoy on the serve. Lovely high ball again by Nesbitt's middle run. Dug up by Karoy. Allen gets a hand to it. And a great early attempt by Daisy Ballman, right in position to go over, be aggressive, knowing the defense isn't quite set for Malory.
Yeah, I mean, that's just using your size advantage. Obviously, Allen has an excellent vertical and is a very, smart player, but Daisy's just got a couple inches on her, and she just hits it right off the top of her hands there for an easy kill.
As Jaden Scott, and again, Newcastle flying in, but again, couldn't quite control it. Great to see two players going for it, better than none.
Yeah, I mean, it's better to have more hats than not enough on the ball, but it's one of those things where those little in-between plays, if we don't clean up those mistakes, then it's going to be a similar result here, as now the lead is at 7 for the Eagles. As
Nebrega finds Bourman, perfect pass, Daisy Bourman, Sierra gets
Great
one
run.
hand to it, but Tenson able to find the floor. And again, Newcastle going quick through the middle on the perfect pass, as Lauren Howe checking in for her first action on the double sub. Oh no, not double sub, sorry, it's just a middle change. So Lauren Howe, the serving sub, effectively for the Knights, is Allen. Tight for Nebrega, and that one goes onto the floor. Rare for Chloe Allen, who's third in the entire Super League last year in serve receive reception.
Yeah, it's a great serve there from Howe, cutting across the court. It's a very high efficiency serve. Let's see if she goes for it again. She does. That one handled much better though. We're going to run the outside here. Swung down the line and missed by a couple feet there. Looking for an outside hand, but couldn't quite find it. It's a right idea. Just missed that little pinky.
Kellerman just telling her team, we're good. Don't mind getting the ball back.
Yeah, it's a quick three
if needed.
It's a quick three for Newcastle.
Allen again, targeted, back set, and she goes down the line, misses.
Will we see an Eagles timeout here, or is he going to let him figure it out? That's 4 in a row. 2 errors, which actually were quite the exact same, just on different sides of the court.
They're going to just shift the passing. Well, I don't know what he wants.
I don't know. Well,
I think he just wanted to bring Allen and Mita up, and I think Malory thought it might be a full rotation. As unfortunately, into the net goes Lauren Howe. But again, you don't mind it after a couple of
it's a great run.
points on serve. It's the best thing, and that gives the Knights some momentum and maybe a small chance as a libero change for the Knights. Carolyn McMahon going to have an opportunity in the DS role as Vask goes aggressive from the 3-meter line. Cruz has to go left-handed.
Nice block.
Scott down the middle on the B ball, but credit to JoJo Cruz.
Yeah, it's an interesting run there. I like the kind of, again, middle system, finding the B ball. That's a great swing into the one there, turning it, a lot of power on it, and really just not much of a chance for the Knights.
As
nice swing from Scott. Yeah, that's great.
That last touch on that, but again, did a really good job lining it up with Kellum. Kellum and Scott really gelling together in their second season as a unit.
Let's see what Vask has from the service line here. Down 4.
As Nebrega with the big set, and Kellum takes advantage. Gabby
Great
Nebrega,
swing.
that's a huge set. And Claire Kellum is cooking.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Paprika
down the line.
times 3 on your spicy scale, Neil.
Yeah, that's got some heat on it. I'm going like a strong 7 out of 10 there. I mean, it may seem conservative, but we've seen some very strong hits from these Malory Eagle pins over the years. So let's save those high rankings for the real bangers. This one's going to get pushed all the way outside. Another swing off the hands. Nice cover and down onto the Eagles side there. A nice Newcastle point. Leads at 4.
I don't even know who got
not
the
sure
last
what happened
touch on
there.
that for Newcastle. I think it was a little overset, but again,
The Knights will
doing
take
a
it.
really good job of trying to play it, and I think it caught Malory off by surprise, and the break are going to go back out to Callum. This
Nice
time she
dig.
goes cross. Vask with the pickup. Boardman. Callum sets Allen down the pipe. Great Vask defense yet again as Boardman missed times
Yeah,
the
it's a tough swing.
But Jenna Vask holding up on the defense.
Yeah, it's a great dig, and it's good. It's a good set. It's just one of those things where, for the outside hitting the out-of-system ball, turning across your own body is very, very difficult there in that situation. And Daisy went for it, which I respect, but it's a tough shot to hit, and she just misses there. And Vask now asking for a towel, maybe to slow the momentum of these Eagles, or there might actually be a wet spot. We sure can't tell from here. And Cornish is looking for a card over here, and I think he's out of his mind, but he's. That's all right here as we step back.
As Jefferson Williams points to the bench, I wonder if he's thinking about a serving sub. We'll see in a second. As Jacob Myers going up into the double block, finds the strong hands out of bounds. Really aggressive swing there going against the double.
Yep.
Rather than being timid, just going and letting loose.
Just letting it fly. I mean, that's what big middle blockers do. They hit hands, they hit hard, She's not power tipping, she's not throwing, she's obliterating balls.
Callum on
Ooh,
the
good
inside out
swing.
swing.
Yeah, that's a tough dig there, obviously, for the middle blocker to try to make after putting in a nice serve. And, she's swinging outside of her body there, which is tough to read from a blocking perspective, as well as we have a potential sub here for the Eagles upcoming.
Indeed, it is Patience O'Neill going another lovely high ball. Boardman goes aggressive on the cut, but a little bit too cutty.
Yeah, I mean, it's the right shot. Again, they're looking for angles here, and it's a great pass there from Kat, but Boardman just misses that outside line.
And again, the depth of Malory. Patience O'Neill checking in. I think she's probably the tallest player on this Malory lineup. Listed at 6'4" out of Concordia University, Irvine. 21-22 graduate, but she'll go in, and that just allows Callum to be the lead setter, but don't need to set a ball that is aced off the serve. Cruz picking it up, and Malory 7 set points for the 2-0 lead.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great serve there, dropping it short. A lot of these balls have been high and on the shoulders, and now moving back short, it's a tough one to read from a passer's perspective, and the service pressure staying true.
Boardman takes it away from Nevsic. Cruz with the back row. O'Neill a little bit passive on the swing as a setter kill by Isabel Hogan. That's
Excellent
great
dump
hands.
there. Very, very appreciative of that as a setter myself. You love a good back dump. As Harriet's going to get the call back here. Her serve produced a lot of excitement, a lot of momentum last set, so we'll see if she can replicate that as the Knights look to gain some momentum to go into the third set here.
Yeah, 6 in a row needed by Philip Edwards. She had, I think, 3 service points.
I'd say something 3 or 4. So
the serving sub in. Oh, really a double sub.
Possible.
And she'll go straight at Chloe Allen Kellum. Allen block out on Vass. 2-0 Malory and the defending champions executing almost a flawless opening 2 sets.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing at a very high level right now. It's all about service pressure. The Knights have definitely been struggling with the outside passing as of now, but it's one of those things where a lot of positives to take away. They have made some excellent plays so far. You've got to think that they have a bit more life here for set 3, as you've got to think you've got nothing to lose going into this one here. You've just got to play your heart out. You've got to leave it all on the floor. Because again, what do you have to lose?
And talk about that from a player's perspective, because I'm not in these huddles. 2-0 down, things not going your way. What are the messages about that? How much about it is trying to fix issues, and how much is that is just reminding of trying to run your own system and run your own style of offense?
There's definitely something to be said about playing your game rather than your opponent's, but I think my mindset as a player, as somebody who loves to win and hates to lose, you're down 2-0. Nobody's expecting you to win this game. There are no expectations or standards on your shoulders of what what you have to do. So you should be playing balls to the wall, excuse my language, and let everything out, because you've got nothing to lose here. You're down 2-0, you're playing the reigning champions. You've got to just let it fly. Swing hard, throw your body around, serve tough, because if you get on the bus losing 3-0 and you still have some left in the tank, then you're just not going to be able to sleep on the way home, which will be long for us as we are in the very far north of England.
As Hooch Stan is offering some potential tickets for King and Queen of the Court, 28th and 29th of November, Crystal Palace for that one, as the idea is to roll the ball to the perfect location. We'll see how people do. But Neil, going to be fun. Friday, Saturday night, under the lights, beach volleyball indoors, and that is...
Come on, what more can you ask for?
I'm going to say, I don't know who's next, but sir and this young lady, good luck, because I don't think you can cook much
I think your
better
best
than
chance is knocking that ball away and giving yourself another
Is that
shot
in the
at
rule
it.
book?
I don't know if it's a bocce ball setup. Oh my gosh!
No, it's gone too far.
Oh, it's rolled
It's
past.
gone too
Another
far, but
unbelievable
that's a
throw.
Great idea. I love it. Respect the hustle. Not quite sure who that is. She looked towards, I think she's got family up in the stands away to the left. And this is one of the, oh boy. Neil.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
That's a letdown. That's an absolute letdown.
You're going to need a bit more paprika on that one if you want to get it there. I like the
I don't even
idea.
need paprika. How about general directional common sense?
To be fair, the distance is perfect. It's just the direction. Look at that. It's right on him. Oh,
no,
defended.
Shiloh, one of the VE staff, also jumped on comms a couple of times with us, tries to knock the ball away, but Sane Hoffman from the Essex Rebels winning prizes. Hopefully that'll be not the only thing Essex Rebels win today. Is there next
we've got
up
another match
against
coming.
Leeds Gorse.
Yeah, that'll be very exciting.
I also get points for that. That's a great link.
Very well done.
So, Newcastle out for set number 3 first. Small little change in the lineup. Lauren Howe going to stay in the lineup, and Lexi Applebach back in as libero for the Knights. And Malory, probably to the surprise of absolutely nobody in this gym or in the live stream at home, make no changes.
Yeah, I mean, keep it consistent. Keep doing what you're doing. If you wanna come out with a 3-0 win here, you've got to just stay consistent. You can't let this Knights team get momentum, because if they get momentum, they can be very, very dangerous.
I appreciate all of you joining us. Set 3 underway. Sierra Nobrega scrambling a little bit. Kellum finds the tape, finds the winner, and a strong start to set number 3 for Malory. Not the perfect execution, but Claire Kellum cooking on all cylinders.
It's a great
double
swing.
digits.
Yeah, cross body right to the 1, and Hogan just doesn't have a chance to make it inside the court dig on it. Bit of miscommunication there between Applebach and Howe, whose ball that is. I think obviously Howe has not been part of this passing unit. Now she puts her hand up, takes responsibility, but I think with a few more points here, this is her first start this match. And there we go, she takes that one. Applebach's going to set out of system. Great high ball, vast swings long. That's dug well by the Eagles. Pushed outside. Allen's going to tip over, picked up by Hogan. Another out of system set from Applebach. And a great swing from Boardman here. Pushed back to the 10 ball and off the hands. Hogan, one arm dig, and that's going to land on the Knights side there as Allen takes care of that one with ease. Excellent scrap from the Knights there, but unfortunate to not be able to convert on any of those swings in a good rally.
Again, no, but everything, Newcastle not able to just find the 1.5 metre line. Everything's just a little bit too far off as Tenson goes middle. And did that come off the head of Jaden Scott? And don't know if we've got a replay on that one.
Possible.
I don't think we do, but that might have been a headed winner by Jaden Scott. We'll see. You know what? We don't have a replay on the screen. We've got a replay up here because we've got YouTube up. So we'll have a quick look at that one in a second. As the set to the 3 metre line, Boardman, again, a little bit far off the tape. Slide for Scott. Good
nice
pick
block.
up by Vas Kellum. Allen, monster stuff, Lauren Tenson, and maybe,
Good Lord.
that's the spark the Knights need. That's a monster.
Holy God. That is an absolute hood. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. The harder you hit, the harder you get blocked. Unbelievable close there from Tenson on the outside, and that's what we're going to want to look for a lot more in the third set here. If you're the Knights, you've got to slow these outside hitters down.
Allen Going to get it back off the set, and she finds the seam. 6-5. Lexi Applebach nowhere near it on the right-hand side. She's chatting it over with.
Yeah, I mean, the block's clearly out of position there. You're way too far on the line. You've got to take away the 5-6 seam there because obviously Chloe Allen can hit sharp cross, and you can't be playing that deep. You've got to move the block over there.
Nebrega, short floats her. Boardman right on the 3-meter line. Howe picks out Allen on the cross. Cruz from the pipe. Hogan able to track it down, but Kellum says, that's my side. And the bench losing their minds. Claire Kellum already on a heat change. That is a fireball moment if you ever needed one. No blockers up. Thank you kindly. I don't think MVP is going to be too hard to call right now as Applebach and
Boardman tries to get around her.
Up.
Yeah, it's a tough high serve there. Easy to get jammed up on, and Boardman just can't quite get around the outside and make a save. 6-point deficit now for the Knights. We'll see how they respond as we're going to have another float serve coming in here from the Eagles.
As Boardman.
Great pass.
Much better. Vask.
There's a huge kill.
And that shows the importance of serve, receive, and first contact. That time, Isabel Hogan, feet basically didn't have to move to set that ball, just the tiniest of shuffle. And now she's confident. Now that's ball sprays.
I mean, if you're the Knights, you've got to watch that clip and say that this is how this whole match should have gone. If we could have been in system for the majority of the first two sets, then we could have produced these results. And there's an in-system kill from Allen there, just into the 5-6 seam. I mean, it's clinical from an opposite, and it's something that we see from the other opposite from the Eagles in Fullerton. That's his favorite seam. So, you know, they definitely have a bit of a connection there. And speaking of a connection, the ball connects with the floor as it bounces right off the low tape of the net.
Allen with the ace. I just have checked. James Scott definitely did not use her head. It was definitely the right hand.
Good to know.
No need for a concussion check. Boardman. Hogan pushing it out to the opposite pin. Good touch by Scott. Nebrega calls for it. Kellum has to wait a little bit. And Newcastle again in system, but Howe can only tip it to the Malory team as Cruz splits the block. And Malory are just saying, welcome to the Super League. This is a lesson on how you step on the gas and keep your foot there. And it doesn't look like the reverse sweep is on the cards right now.
Hey, I don't see any fat ladies singing yet, and there's still some motion in this game as Applebach tries to take it back and can't quite get there. Large deficit here for the Knights, but you've got to hope that they're going to keep building in and try to work on the things that are important to them. Shentz will call a timeout, talk it over. I think the conversation that's had here is, again, let's lose the tension. Let's stop playing passively. Let's stop playing nervous, and let's work on what we need to work on. This is the first match of a very long season for the Knights, and they need to work on the internal things that they have to work on rather than worrying about the result of your opening weekend game. You know, obviously everybody here wants to win, but in a tough deficit now, you just have to build some momentum.
And I like you say long season, but in a way, it's not. And this is what Sam Cheney was talking to us about in when I caught up with him in the preseason meeting. Last season was the marathon. It's 18 games. It's only 14. So as much as you say it's long season, we've got 4 or 5 months. You don't have a lot of time. If this drags into game 4, game 5, and you're 0-4, 0-5, you're staying relegation right in the face. Actually, there's going to be a super important balance for Knights that you learn. You park this game, but you can't let it drag on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a certain window of time that the cohesion problems can be allowed, and it's starting to get past that. Once you get into game 3, game 4, you've got to start to tune up those little things.
And unfortunately, no coach's point. Chloe Allen living on the service line right now. Can the Knights find a way to get off it? And they nearly can. Cruz with a knee save. But unfortunately, Kellum not quite there. The one thing Kellum's done wrong today, clearly not getting to that one on time. Shocking.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a great swing. The block's closed, but it's just too powerful, and it just bashes right through.
And the double sub for Newcastle. No surprise. Phil Edwards, chance to serve. Sam Shenton's going to throw on to the service line as Jodie Amor comes in as well.
See if the double sub is as efficient as it was in set 1.
As
Nice
Cruz
serve.
plays that one. Nebrega calls for it, so Allen's going to stand from the pipe. Amor and Kellum lined up the line block, but if anything, actually over-jumped
Yeah,
it and just
she flew about
opened up
5
the
feet
angle.
off court.
But good job by Amor, just cutting on it a little bit late to find the seam, knowing the block was coming.
Yep, yeah, sets a bit wide there, but she handles it really well and finds the middle of the court and finds some easy hands there.
Nebrega. Kellum finds the hands, and Philip Edwards not tracking that block touchdown. And a big one for Malory, just to make sure that arguably the best server for the night today doesn't get a service run going. The youngster Phil Edwards, part of the England under-20 lineup, as Lauren Howe running all over the court. As McMahon can't handle that one, and that's going to probably be the disappointing thing for the Knights in this game, is the serve-receive unit's not held up, and there's not a lot you can do offensively if your serve-receive unit's really struggling. Malory nearly into double-digit aces now on the day, as Jaden Scott finds the net.
It's definitely a thing that needs to be worked on here, I think, especially for the Newcastle Knights outsides. They definitely were targeted, and if they're going to continue playing at this high level in the Super League, they're going to be targeted again. And I think that, obviously, as the season goes on, they're going to handle it much better here and start, maybe throwing some balls up, as Howe finds an ace of her own.
Second ace of the game for Newcastle. Net tape aided, but it doesn't matter. If the net bounces your way, you're going to get some, you're going to definitely not get some others. But Lauren Howe just trying to find the way into the game for the Knights. Cruz, Kellum with the tip, McMahon with a ridiculous pickup, Howe there as well. Great job by the Knights. Kellum's going to get a second chance on the mini slide, and she buries
No pickup
it.
there. That's going to go straight floor. It's a very dynamic play, and definitely Eagles are working on their own offensive things, as we're going to see that one again. Yeah, Edwards just can't quite reach across there. Such a sharp angle. She'll go back to the service 9.
Kellum. Howe with a perfect pass. Boardman finds Sierra, as Kellum and Nebrega, the two setters, getting each other's way, and that sums up the day for the Knights. That was just a pass by Chloe Allen, finds the tower flex.
Yeah, can't be letting those balls drop there. You've got to pinch if you are the defenders there for the Knights. They'll definitely want that one back. 16-6 now in set 3. Knights looking to get some momentum here, but Malory Eagles making it very difficult with some service pressure. Excellent set there from Edwards. Cross court high. Boardman finds hands. Tips over the line. Nice pickup.
Set it out of system, so McMahon bump set, and Amor into the net. Mistimed the jump, I think.
Yeah, I think you need a little bit more air on that.
17-6, the Eagles lead.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Knights, this is obviously not the position that you want to be in, but it's one that you need to work with and use for your own gain instead of just kind of sitting and sweating and waiting for the game to end. That ball is still live. They'll send the free over. Middle run tips there. Nice dig.
Phil Edwards on the defense as Boardman goes for the hands, but Nebrega sees it and pulls them miles away.
It's the right idea there from Boardman. Weird in medium system, trying to find some piece of a finger there, but a very educated block move to take the hands away.
So hitter for setup. So Kellum now just going to be purely on setting responsibility. No surprise with the way she's playing. She's left in the game. It's Sophie Shishko as Kellum tries to go with the short serve. We've seen Malory utilise that a lot as a change for the Knights. Serving substitution as Kylie Kuntz into the game. Kylie not due to be initially travelling.
Yeah, an injury opened up a spot for her, which I think is a huge plus for this Knights squad. She's a very dynamic hitter. She's got a heck of an arm on her. As you can see, that nice float delivered there, but handled well by Allen.
As Karoy, Phil Edwards again with the back row defense. Boardman sees hands. Kellum, Shishko with the touch, good touch, but Kylie Kuntz couldn't quite get to it. So playing Malory know well. Kylie used to be in Bournemouth, came up and trained a few times with the Eagles squad as well. As Newcastle going to reverse that serving substitution. As Jojo Cruz back to line. You can see Malory having fun though. Allen and Kellum having a laugh as well. And that's when we know Malory are dangerous, when they're on the court having fun. Still it almost feels like they're switched off, but they are most definitely engaged.
Oh yeah, definitely not switched off. A high caliber program, you know, they're never switched off. They're always playing hard. As Boardman just finds the antenna there, a good speed set to the outside and a great long swing, but just a bit wide there. As we're looking at 20-7 now, deficit for the Knights. Definitely an unfortunate shakeout here for this newly promoted side. But we'll see how the end of the set transpires, if we can get some positives. One-handed set from Harriet there. It's a nice dig.
Sierra on point. She hasn't been needed much as McMahon with the bump set. Howe from the pipe, and Sierra knows to leave it, and I think they're just going to double check the antenna.
They're thinking about it, and no, they will not.
I think the line judge couldn't quite get hold of the referee. I could definitely see him mouthing his name, well, as good as my lip reading is, from 25 meters away, as
Nice run.
Tenson goes into the hands.
Yeah, I think this is definitely an unfortunate deficit here for the Knights, but a lot of positives coming. A lot of faces getting some Super League exposure here, getting some reps. That's very good, because obviously what we saw in the beginning is a very strong squad, but it's nice to be able to get some of your reserves in and get them Super League game time and experience, especially against a top program like Malory.
So reversing the double sub, keeping 3 hitters on the front row. I think Malory are thinking about a change. It looks like Emily Feller might make her Super League debut. The American setup, playing for the University of East London this year, who got their season off to a strong start with a 3-0 victory. Allen goes power tip. McMahon with a crazy attempt to keep the ball alive, but that ball close, unfortunately, to leaving the sports hall in the doors away to our right than it was the dig, but got to respect the hustle.
Got to.
Emily
Substitution.
Feller checking in as a serving sub. Malory loving that. Emily Feller moving to London, probably an opposite as you can get. She serves the internet. We'll give her a pass on that one. Are they going to? No, they're not going to reverse the sub. But going from Montana State, pretty isolated area, into
that is
London,
a change
bit of
for
a culture
sure.
shift.
Yep. Can't get much different than that.
But I know she's loving life in London.
Yep.
As Cruz, Kellum, Scott somehow circumnavigates the block on that one. And Malory out of system. Sierra bump set, lovely position for Allen to attack, plays for the hands.
Yeah, it's a great long swing there. I mean, that's a high quality kill, and it's systematic for this Eagles team here, as they're 2 points away from an opening weekend victory, and definitely something that will not be a shock to the volleyball England community. But I would say a lot of positives to take away from this Knights squad. I'm very excited to see how this team develops throughout the season. Obviously, we're seeing a very polished Malory team that have been playing together, as Allen finds the line there. But this is a very new, untested Newcastle squad, and I think that they're going to make some waves as the season goes on. Well, I mean, what better way to start out than playing the top team in the league, you know? What better way to get into the Super League?
Well, we didn't know if Malory were going to be up there again or not. We didn't quite know, but they've set their stall out as Sophie Chisco tries to close it off. Great save by Hogan to keep the match alive. Allen for the game, buries it. And Malory Eagles start the season in a dominant fashion, 25-16, 25-18, 25-9. And for the defending champions, they've left no doubt, Neil, that they are going to be a force to be reckoned with all season long yet again.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, they did what we've seen them do for the last couple of years, and I don't think anybody is surprised about that. It was an excellent match for them, very clean, with few errors and a lot of great service pressure. And I think that for the Knights, this is a great way to start and test out and figure out what works and what doesn't. I think that the pass was excellent from the libero, from Applebach, was shining on the passing unit there. The outsides definitely have a bit of work to do, but once that pass is in, that middle was active this game. Tenson had some excellent kills. Amber had some absolute nukes down the line, and I think that once that pass is in, this team can be legitimately dangerous to very good sides. So I think that there's definitely some positive takeaways here for Newcastle.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers, 7 points, 6 kills, Tenson 3 kills as well, so 9 of the 20 kills for the Knights coming through the middle. As Malory get their favourite song going. DJ Cads knows the protocol.
Yep.
But we've got to talk we'll talk about the MVP in a second, Neil, but we've got to talk about Chloe Allen, because yes, she was an outlet, but all of a sudden it feels quite a game, and you look at the score, 15 kills for the Malory outside.
Yeah, I mean, she's picked up right where she left off from last season. Clearly a dominant player in the league and has...
Okay, so who's getting embarrassed with the dancing? That's the best question. Who doesn't know it? Well, Aaliyah's definitely got some work to do, but we know the Malory will do it. Is Stan going to try and do a dancing interview? That would be fun.
He's looking for it.
Yeah, he is. Candy and an interview, Jojo Cruz. But Neil, final thoughts. Obviously for Knights, a lot of work to do on the serve receive, but we always knew it was going to be an uphill task game one.
Absolutely. I mean, going into the match, I think you have to assume that playing against the top side in the league, coming from recently promoted, it's definitely going to be a challenge, and that's what they saw tonight. I mean, Malory did what they've been doing for many years, and I don't think anybody is surprised about that. But I will say, if you're Newcastle, you've got to take the positives from this and flush the negatives. Like I said, the middles were running efficiently when the pass was in. The outsides, when the offense was spread, succeeded. I think that there's a lot of good things to take away, especially in the terms of wanting it. There was a lot of scrap there that I liked. And if you're a recently promoted team, that's what you need to have. You know, you need to want it more than that other side. And I definitely saw flashes of that tonight. So I'm very excited to kind of see how that transpires. But it'll be fun. And I can't wait to follow along the whole time. And it's going to be an excellent journey. And we're going to kick it over now to our MVP interview.
And joined by Malory Eagles opposite setter, everything in between, Claire Kellum. Claire, great start to the season. You must be delighted with the performance.
Yeah, I haven't swung fully in the whole season. I focused more on setting last year, but I have really good teammates and we have a very deep bench, so I was able to get reps a little bit everywhere, so is everybody else. So.
And just talk about, obviously, year two in this system, how much more comfortable you are now, obviously playing different roles, but this group feels full of confidence as well from the success of last year.
Yeah. I think a big part of like Super League is that there's like a bunch of new people coming in every year, so we kind of had to reset from last year, see who we got, and then as of right now, we're doing really good trying to work on getting our connections together and whatnot. Who's busting a move? Hey.
And just talk about the link with you and Gabby. Obviously, you both want to set. Obviously, you've slided over to start seeing opposite, but it feels like you know each other on the court, and you're able to take that second ball as she's taking first ball and really just keep the offense flowing.
Yeah. I think our passing was pretty in system today, so she was able to use all of the other hitters to provide a free net for me. But I think it's just confidence that our teammates have the right connection and everything. I enjoyed it.
I'm sure you do. And we had Georgia McGovern in the chat. She said statement win. How important was that for you as the champions coming out and setting your mark? You've seen 2 5-setters already. You had the long wait, but how important was that to come out and show the league you're ready for season number 2?
It's like what I said earlier, because there's new people, everyone expects to have like different teams in the top every year, but I think it was really important for us to make that statement and show that we are still as strong as we finished last year, even when we don't have the same people.
Well, we'll let you go, but congratulations, strong start to the season, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. I missed my dance for this.
Hey, you can go dance with Carol anytime you want.
I can. Bye, guys.
And that'll wrap it here from Loughborough. We'll be back in about 15 minutes. Leeds Gorse, Essex Rebels to close out the MAAREE Women's Super League opening weekend.